Sahano Bhunattu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. There's a question we have from Prajnarao. Does a butcher attract sin? How does law of karma deal with him for his actions? Does a butcher attract sin? How does law of karma deal with him for his actions? Now, first what we need to understand is on what basis law of karma functions. The basis for law of karma is not action. Remember, it is the motive behind action. That is the principle on which the law works. Karma is not concerned about what is the physical action is, actual action is. The accent is more in terms of your intention, motive behind it. And then, is it just the motive, sir? No. It goes one step further. It says it not just that motive as we all think, because most of the time we have a surface motive. One thing we say, this is what my intention is. Many times when we fight, when we argue, when we discuss, debate, we say, my intention is this. What I meant is what I intended to. You say, and we blame it is because of my lack of ability to communicate or express myself properly, or it is because of your misunderstanding. My intention is not made clear to you, but my intention is this. But law of karma says, no, I don't go just based on your intention alone. Surface motive. It goes along with your awareness also. So for law of karma to work, it will take into consideration, are you aware? Are you conscious? Which we call as, in a simple language, we call it as rational. To be conscious, to be alert. Are you alert enough to capture what you are intending through that motive, through that thought? So one is the action. Behind the action is the motive, which is a thought. Behind that thought is the awareness. So law of karma will take into consideration all these three. In the tree, weightage is given to awareness first, then to the thought, least to the action. So from outside, what we are seeing only the action. We cannot know the intention, and what is behind the intention is the awareness, which the alertness with which the person is conscious of his thought and his action. So if you take those two factors, we have no idea. So to answer that question, does a butcher attract sin? We cannot conclusively say yes, right? Because we don't know what is his intention. Because we have had in the scriptures, we have had masters who were butchers. Right? He is a butcher actually. Mahabharata gives a story of a Brahmin goes in search of a butcher to learn Brahma Vidya from him. Dharmavyata. That his name was Dharmavyata. We had to go to that man to gain this Brahma Vidya. So he thought that man must be a great scholar. So he goes. And when he goes, they say, no, 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 that fellow doesn't stay here. He stays outside, outskirts. You know. So you go and live in outskirts. The moment he heard he lives in outskirts, he got really confused. It was only this. These people go and live outskirts. They don't live inside the village. He comes there in the far end of the city. Last house is this fellow's house. Dharmavya. What was he doing? Butchery. And he says, my customers are coming, you wait. He's asking this Brahmin to wait. And this Brahmin has to sit outside his shop and wait while he is cutting and sieving and all that and giving, distributing. And then finally, he washes his hands and comes out, asks him, what do you want? He said, I've been, wanting to learn this Brahma Vidya. Can you teach? Teach me. He says, oh, okay, then wait. I'll finish my other things. And he goes inside, he finishes all his work and then comes out. And then only he starts the teaching. Now, if you say a butcher will attract sin, then what about that Dharmavya? He should be attracting sin. We can't say yes. It is not accepted. Number one. Number two, second angle. So first I have given you the angle of karma. Then substantiated with the scriptural authority. Third one we go is, what about this sin? Remember, sin is not in the action. It is the reaction that causes in your mind as a result of the performance of action. So action by itself cannot be classified as sin. If you want to call something as sin, it is not in action, it is in the reaction. If that reaction were to be agitating, disturbing to the mind, then you have committed a sin. If the reaction is not one of agitation, then you have not committed a sin, according to Vedanta. Full stop. They say, sir, a person does, a massacre, mass killing. It takes a semi-automatic, goes and enters, simply just walks into a restaurant and shoots people, 16 people dead. He is caught. He says, I am not agitated. Vedanta will say, he is not sinned. 99.99999% of people will not agree with this. You cannot agree to it. You see, very difficult to digest that idea. It's very difficult when I say it is practically impossible to digest it. You say, how can you say that? Which means what? We want him. I say, what I'm talking about is sin. I'm not talking about legal aspects, please. I'm not talking about social. You see, catch that fellow and put him in jail and prosecute him and give him whatever the however you want to punish him legally, you have to do that according to the laws of the land, right? Even if it means a capital punishment to be given, give the capital punishment. That is not what Vedanta, because that's not the domain of Vedanta. Remember, Vedanta cannot get into those aspects. That's all handled by the law of the land, because law of the land focuses only on your action. Law of the land cannot be focusing on your intention. I get a thought of burgling a bank. You cannot file a case on me. You see, nobody can file a case on me because I had the thought. I go to the bank, I see the bank, lot of money is there, I get a thought that why can't I simply burgle and go? You can't file a case on me legally because law of the land works only with reference to action. So for that action, according to the laws of the land, take the course. That is not what we are discussing. Remember that. We are discussing philosophy. In the discussion of philosophy, what is the meaning of the word sin? Because sin is a philosophical term. Crime is a legal term. Okay, they are two different words. In the law, we don't have crime. We just say, we don't use the word sin there. I'm sorry. We don't use the word sin. Sin is used only in the context of philosophy, theology. It is theological term. What is the difference? The difference is this. Have you committed the action? When you perform the action, then according to the social conditions and the laws of the land of that particular period, you will be taken action. Now they say they are extending the law. No, now they are planning to extend the legal marriage age to be 21. Okay. Now imagine that I have already got engaged and the girl is 19. Right. Example only I'm saying. Now what happens? I had to wait for another 2 years. Marriage cannot happen. Then what about that? One point of time that was legal, at another point of time it becomes illegal. So if we take a stand that in the land, in the principle, butchery is illegal, then it's a crime. So when I gave the example of a man who is taking the semi-automatic gun and shooting people, Vedanta is saying that is allowed. That is okay to do. No. It says, has he incurred a sin? That part alone we discuss, remember. Okay, so don't mix it up because many people will get angry with us. Angry with Vedanta and say, what nonsense you are talking. Vedanta is not discussing about this part. Vedanta discusses only with reference to what happens to him internally. When we are discussing about what is happening to him internally, correspondingly we have to check what is happening to you internally also. What is happening to you internally here? When you see a man like that, and if he is caught and he is punished to your satisfaction, okay, punishment also has to be to your satisfaction. If he is caught and if he is punished to your satisfaction, what happens to you internally is very different from he is caught but he is not punished to your satisfaction. Then what do you do? He is caught he is not punished at all. Then what you do? He is not caught at all. Then what you do? You see the scenario. 4 scenarios are there. For each scenario, internally things will be changing for you. See? So finally we come to this law of karma topic, subject, where it says what? You cannot go scot-free for your actions. You hear that. When you hear that, immediately what happens? You take out the list mentally of all those people whom you wished were caught and punished to your satisfaction. To all those people, what you will do now? You will start entertaining a wishful thinking. What is a wishful thinking now? Taking the law of karma as a umbrella under which you will fall and say what? He will suffer. If not now, in future he will suffer. With interest he will suffer. Remember, you are not going to be just suffering like normal police. You took that semi-automatic and killed 16 people. No. You know what will happen to you? For next 16 janmas, what will happen to you? You will be brutally killed. You killed one janma, you did this. All this is what? All this is your wishful thinking, remember. And your wishful thinking, you cannot superimpose on law of karma and say, oh, law of karma will take care of all those things. So accounts will get squared. Law says, sorry, you are interpreting me wrongly. Because the law of karma is not concerned about action. It is concerned more about, of course, it takes action also as a factor. But that is not the primary factor. It's not a primary factor. Action is taken as a reference point for us to get a completion to the concept. Because if you say just awareness, law of awareness, imagine if they would have termed it as law of awareness, all of us will claim what? All of us will claim, I know what my intentions are. All of us claim, I have complete awareness of what I am doing. All of us will claim. If at all you are making an error, we say, I have erred only in terms of improper expression. That's about it. If at all you have to accept a mistake of yours, you'll say, mistake is only in terms of my actions, sir. I have never made a mistake in terms of my intention. I have never had a wrong intention. I have never been unconscious. Unconscious means maybe when I am drunk, I am a teetotaler. Therefore, that possibility is not there. Then what is it? Sleeping. Sleeping actions were not considered here. Whatever imagine, law of karma includes all that you dream also. You're finished. So we say what? So no, it doesn't work. So during my waking hours, when I am not conscious, throughout I am conscious. All of us will claim pass mark for this, pass mark for that. That is why they did not include those two things directly. They coined it as law of karma, action. Then what happens? Then you start probing into action. What defines action? What are all the various types of actions that we execute? What are all the action possibilities we have? Once you understand those various action possibilities, from there, slowly there is a possibility for you to go one step back. If you go one step back, it is intention. Is that all, sir? No. They say one step back, you have to go again. Why? Because we do see this in the world. It's not matching. What is that? I had a good intention, sir, but the results are contrary. How do you account it? How is it possible? Can the law be wrong? You say no, law is not wrong. Then what is the factor you have missed? You have missed the factor of alertness. So, what is this we have? We say law of karma functions based on these three principles. Now you come back to that question. How does law of karma deal with him for his actions? Butcher. For butchery, how it is going to consider? It will not take into consideration his act of butchery. No. Then, if at all he were to be suffering, if at all he has to be penalized, he gets penalized not for the act of butchery. Not for this. He gets penalized for the other. Dr. Johnson makes one of a fascinating statement. If a boy were to confess that he peeped through this window while he peeped through the other window, whip him, he says. I repeat. Dr. Johnson, beautiful statement of his. If a boy / girl also, okay, were to confess that he peeped through this window when he has actually peeped through the other window, whip him. When I read that first time, I said, what difference does it make? As long as he has confessed. It's like a man, who enters to steal. This fellow did know in Vellore, I think. One of the famous jewelry shop. He bore a hole through the wall. And he entered and, absconded with about few crores of, jewels. Of course, he is caught. And imagine, he says, I entered through this window, sir. When he actually entered through the other window. Why you got to whip him? When you are penalized for the lack of awareness, don't say, for the action I am getting penalized. It is wrong connection you are making. Now we can say, sir, without awareness, a person goes and does a charitable action, let's say. What about that? He will also be penalized. He will also suffer. Now we wonder, sir, what is this? One person who is doing such a gross action according to us, okay? According to us, it is wrong. He is having this. But what about these people? Why he has to, he suffers, I understand. But one person is doing a good action, which according to me is a very unselfish action. Is going and distributing things, and he is going to things and does surveys. All that he does. But all that is done without that awareness, without that objectivity. You will be penalized for the lack of objectivity, for the lack of alertness, for the lack of that awareness. You will be objective. You have to suffer. Now we say, I suffer because of the action. No, you suffer not because of the action. You suffer for this. You are rewarded or you are penalized. Not based on your action alone. Action is the very, very insignificant part of it. In Tirupati Laddu, how much of cardamom you will see inside that? One full laddu if you take. 3, 4. That's all the percentages. You don't get more than that. What about that bundi? Laddu is made up of that bundi. No? That's why they say moti laddu. Moti laddu, only bundi is there, nothing else is there. But here you have this, but these are all very, very limited. How much you will see of cashew in that? Limited. But that is also included in laddu. Now imagine a laddu without it. Without it is incomplete. But is this the major portion of it? No. It is just a small portion of it. Similarly, in the understanding of law of karma, remember, it is not your action alone. It is the thought behind the action. Is it just the thought behind the action, sir? No, it is not just the thought behind the action. It is the awareness that is backing the thought. With all three, law of karma will work. Otherwise, to claim, this, what about this, sinner? According to us, somebody has done some wrong action. We say, such a corrupt person, sir. He should be suffering. No. But then what is happening? He is not getting penalized by the laws of the land. So a person, being, put in jail. And people read that and said they are very happy. When you read, a person who has been a head of the state is put behind the bars. When you read that, how do you feel? Do you feel sorry or you feel happy? Justice served. Right? You feel justice served. And when you read that, actually what you are experiencing, deserved it. Have you ever thought the other side? Have you ever looked into it from the another angle? Why? Because we all have that anger. There is a tremendous anger against corruption. From whom? Not from the receiving end. From the receiving end, there is no problem at all. Nobody has that issue. Only those who are giving, those who are paying only are against it. Isn't it? Who is against corruption? Right? We say, we are all against corruption. Not against corruption. Allow the students, all these youngsters are all against corruption. Just allow one exam you conduct, where we can bring the books. You can open book examination conduct, and see what happens. How many students will come and say, sir, examination purpose is what? Purpose is to know whether I have understood what is being taught by the teacher for 1 year. That's why I don't conduct exams. If I conduct exams, I don't know how many of you, first of all, will appear for that. Forget about, appear will not happen. See, you open exam, what you will do there? I say, why do you guys in the colleges have a team to check the projects being given by the students for checking plagiarism? Why? cut paste, borrow, Google it, take 1 year, take 1 year, take 1 year, cut paste. What is it? For which? Why do you have to spend 1 year? All that you have to do is for sit with the system for 10 days. You can get all the material. In 10 days, you can cover all that. But you say what? Youngsters are against corruption. Against corruption means what? Against corruption in terms of giving money. If I were to be the one who is receiving that, what are we going to do? We are paying income tax. No. How many of us go and tell the auditor, doesn't matter, I have to pay tax, let's pay. I have to pay extra. Okay, anyway, they will make assessment and it will get reimbursed. If it is excess, it will get reimbursed. Okay, it may not come immediately, it will come little later, but it will get reimbursed anyway. What is the problem? Pay. Let's see later. A country of 135 crores, imagine 50% of it is not. Imagine, okay, even 75% is not. Then 25% should be paying tax, right? Imagine 25% of India were to be paying tax. Is it? But we say what? Against corruption. Are you conscious of what you are thinking? But our standard is what? I am not actually taking the knife and stabbing another person. But think for yourself, how many times you have sweared on a fellow who just passed when you are driving? One taxi driver cuts across and enters. What was your thinking? Fortunately, you have not had gun with you. Right? If we were to distribute, everyone who buys a car will be given one free gun. Two things will happen. Traffic will reduce, population will reduce. Everything will be easy after that. Why not? All of us would have been shot. You would have killed me, I would have killed you. That's all. So much of anger you get. What thought passes you at that time? We were not having a gun in my hand. That's all. If he were to, unfortunately, that man had gun with him at that time. So he took the gun and shot 16 fellows. Don't think immediately I'm trying to justify his action, please. Immediately you go to the other side. Say, no. Law of karma will not count only one angle. It takes together. But what we want, I am not able to stand against that injustice which I see. I feel killing that is injustice. Cow slaughter, injustice. Correct, according to me. Right, according to me it is wrong. So I see someone and I don't have power in my hands to punish or stop. Both I am not able to do. But that is causing me tremendous frustration because it has hurt me. You see, my sentiment is hurt. I'm just taking the example of cow slaughter. Okay, just for example, I'm taking it. According to me, it is wrong. And unfortunately, I don't have the power in my hands to stop it, nor I have the power in me to punish. I cannot punish, I cannot stop, I cannot do anything. But these two things are conflicting. These two experiences are conflicting in nature. That conflict will create agitation in me, and I do not know how to pacify that agitation in me. I come to the Vedanta class. I sit in the law of karma class. where it says you are penalized for your actions, for doing wrong actions. So immediately what will happen immediately what will happen in me? According to me, the one who has done that action is doing a wrong action, and therefore he will be penalized. How he will be penalized, that I may not know. When he is going to be penalized, that I may not know. But one thing for sure, sir, he should be penalized according to law of karma. Vedanta says, brother, don't get angry with me. Not necessarily. May not. When he says may and may not, you will get annoyed. Annoyed with Vedanta. Say, what nonsense. So they go scot-free. So a person can do whatever he wants and can go scot-free. So Vedanta says, no. You can't do like that also. Then what? It says parameters were different. What are the parameters? These three were the parameters. Motive or intention behind the action. And then it goes one step further and says, are you aware? This awareness or lack of awareness is where we use another term called rational impulsive. So what happens? Rational, impulsive, motive. Rational person has a motive. Impulsive person, motive. So motives can be two motives. What are the two motives? Good, bad. Selfish, unselfish. Right? Two motives are possible. Good motive, genuine, or very selfish. Egocentric motives. Self-satisfying motives. That is negative. So you can have a negative motive, which we call as wrong motive, backed by this. In this law of karma says, you are penalized essentially not for the motives also. You are essentially penalized or rewarded for your awareness. Awareness is the catch. What is going to be getting that awareness and accessing that awareness, retaining that awareness is what Purushartha is all about. Prajna, okay. Now the self-effort, this Purushartha. Now I am coming to the text. What is this Purushartha? Prarabdha we have seen. When we are studying law of the destiny, we have seen Prarabdha. Now what is this Purushartha, sir? See, Purushartha essentially, we do not understand that the power of Purushartha. See, what we do not understand is that every thought, each and every thought that is passing through your mind is because of Purushartha. Every thought. Remember, every thought that is passing through your mind is due to Purushartha, the faculty of self-effort, of free will, Purushartha. Now you may wonder, no, sir, but there is Purushartha there. What is this? What we do not understand is what amount of effort is needed for you to entertain a thought. After entertaining a thought, the thought gathers its momentum. Afterwards, it looks like as though the thoughts keep coming on its own. Remember, Purushartha means that. is the possibility, is the capacity in you to create a thought and stay with the thought. Your ability to entertain it, to be aware or to stay with the thought. And after you have sustained and stayed with the thought for a period of time, the thought gathers that momentum. After that, it becomes Prarabdha. After that, it is coming on its own without your effort at all. By itself, it comes. Where you don't have to put in any specific effort. For example, a boy sitting and thinking of his beloved. The thought of that beloved is coming by itself, isn't it? He is not creating it. So that boy, when he hears that, he says, no, no, no. How did this happen? When did I do that? That is why we give this example. Vasishta gives this. Vasishta puts it across beautifully in Yoga Vasishta. He establishes there. Try to think this one thought. You will understand what I am speaking. Right? All this may be too theoretical. Right? But try to think. Try to just stay with one thought, just as an experimentation. Okay, experiment. That's all it is. There's no practice or anything I am recommending you to do. Okay, just to experiment and find out the truth. What is it, sir? Just try to entertain this one thought. I am Atma Brahma. I am Brahman. I am God. Whatever language suits you. Right? I prefer the language of I am Atma Brahma. Mahavakya. This Atman is Brahman. That's the meaning of it. Just try staying with that thought. Not now. Don't do that now. Whenever you get time, allocate about 10 minutes or 5 minutes also will be enough. For 5 minutes, say to yourself that I am just going to entertain only this one thought. What is it? I am Atma Brahma. More than this one idea, I am not going to entertain any other idea. Just I am Atma Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. Try to entertain the thought. That exercise will prove how it is difficult to maintain one thought. Which means, today I am having 1001 thoughts in me. And all those thoughts are looking to me as so effortless, coming on its own. But what we fail to understand is, all this is a product of that effort that I had put in the past, which is what we studied in the last class. What is Prarabdha, sir? Current Prarabdha is nothing but past Purushartha. Future Prarabdha is going to be what? Your current Purushartha. Therefore, what is the defining factor of your life is not Prarabdha, it is Purushartha. Self-effort. Remember, if you miss it, it will become difficult. No one can force you to think a thought. People can force you to do things. Possible. You see, the proof is this. The proof of it is, what is the proof now? This exercise. Try this exercise. One thought. 2, from your own experience you can know, no one can force you to think that. People can force you to do certain actions. I can put a gun you and say you have to do it. Possibly, I can force you to do. But no one can force you to think. If externally a person can force you to think, means no one would have thought of fighting for freedom. Isn't it? No one would have got that thought of let us fight for freedom. The fact that few people had that possibility to think of freedom, what is the proof of it? That proves no one can force you. At best, what externally can do is they can create a conducive environment for you to entertain a particular thought. That is possible at best. But that also there is no guarantee. That environment will definitely give you the thought, there is no guarantee. That's why a person can go to a temple and ask, is it marble or stone? Granite stone. There is no marble. One fellow, I remember, it took him to that, Birla Mandir. Very weird. The person who built this is, Birla group. But they call that temple as Birla Mandir. So when I go there, cousin who had come along with me, went there, we saw that. He said, "Adana marble?" He asked. I said, maybe. One person. Another person says, what a fantastic piece of art. Look at that, intricacies on a stone, how someone could have, because a small sizzle mistake is enough to throw the whole thing out. See, imagine. See, every time you see that piece of art, you understand the effort that has gone behind it. What instruments those people would have had, how much, it's all handmade only. See, there's no mission. See, precision and all that, there's no mission there, it's all handmade. In handmade, imagine a man to have that much of concentration and focus to do, not to make a single mistake. You type one letter, you make 10 mistakes in that. Forget about typing, reading. You read a paragraph, how many mistakes you make? Tanya, I'm not referring to you. From tomorrow she will say, enough of reading for you, I will do, you do your own reading. You read, how many mistakes you make in that? Imagine a man who is sitting and making that statue in a stone. One, extra pressure chips off, they have to discard the whole thing, isn't it? Because you can't say, we will make some, we had that super glue is there now. You can just take it and patch it up and cover it up. You cannot do, we don't have that plasters and, super glue and all that to fix it. What an effort. This is another person. Another person goes and looks at that and tears of devotion. The devotional tears flows. He sees that divinity in that. He sees that Lord Krishna, Lord Rama there. How? Place is the same thing. The deity is same. That whatever you call it, that is the same thing. That doesn't change. One person gets this thought, another person gets this thought, another person gets this thought. That goes to prove nothing external can force you to think. Right? So externally, no possibility to entertain a thought. Then internally, what is it? Internally, we entertain every thought that is passing through. Is this? Then we ask internally, what is the next question we have to ask is, sir, is this thought because of the pressure of the past? So you go back and say, yes, because of the past it is. So what is making you think today? You're constantly thinking of the world. What is it that is making you to think of the world so freely, so effortlessly, so consistently? That consistency that you are able to get, the consistency with which you think of the world, 10% of that consistency, if you were to be having on God, by now, Ramatirtha says you would have realized God. So consistently. That's where the next chapter comes. It is the duping, it says. It is the duping of the world. It just dupes you completely. What is the duping? How does the duping work? The duping works by giving you a sense of false image that your expectations are getting met quickly. You see, in the world, your expectations are getting met. Therefore, what happens to you? Thoughts run in that direction quickly. Since your desires are appearing to be fulfilling, therefore you move in that direction. That doesn't mean that all my thoughts are because of self-effort, and self-effort is the cause for my prarabdha. Current prarabdha is because of the self-effort, and it is the self-effort. What is the current prarabdha? All the collection of thoughts that I have, all the thoughts of today I'm having, whatever I am today, is because of my past. Correct. Then we are studying this under the chapter of law of causation, cause and effect. Okay. Then one metaphysical question that we will be asking. One, it is pure metaphysics. Okay. Does Purushartha has a cause? If Prarabdha is the effect, Purushartha is the cause, then what has caused Purushartha? Because we are studying, everything is falling under the category of cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect, isn't it? Right. Then we say, today my life is what, sir? Prarabdha, sir. Destiny. Correct. Your current destiny is because of your past Purushartha. Then it goes backwards. Okay. What was my destiny at the, during, 2010, because of 2009? What is my destiny then because of 2008? Go back, it will go ad infinitum. Similarly, future also will go forward ad infinitum. Right? So this is the chain of life. Okay. If Purushartha is the cause of Prarabdha, then what has caused Purushartha itself? Right. Vasishtha says Purushartha is not caused by anything. Nothing has caused Purushartha. And Rama, he says, don't believe that everything in life is cause and effect. Right. It starts with saying everything is cause and effect. Finally, he says, don't think everything is not cause and effect in life, man. Why? In nature, there is no cause. Nature has no cause and effect. Remember that. Nature, when I say, I'm not talking about what we understand as the word nature. Nature means dharma, the essential nature. The dharma of fire is heat. What has caused fire to be hot? You cannot answer the question, isn't it? What has caused sugar to be sweet? See, the sweetness is the essential nature of sugar. Heat is the essential nature of this. So, as long as there is heat, as long as there is fire, there will be heat. And can you remove heat out of fire? Suppose for whatever technique we have, from some method, we have extracted heat out of fire. Whatever is left out, can you call it as fire anymore? You have to give it a new term. You cannot call it the same. It is called in a different term. Different word you have to use for that. It's not the same thing anymore. It's not fire. So what has caused it? Similarly, what has caused Purushartha? Nothing has caused Purushartha. Purushartha, self-effort, is inherent. The essential nature. What is part and parcel of your personality? What is part and parcel of human? What defines human to be human is Purushartha, which is the capacity to entertain and stay with the thought. Create a thought and stay with the thought as long as he wishes. That power is what is defining human. No other factor defines human. So what is the nature of human? As long as you are a human, you will be having this Purushartha inherent in you. It is ingrained. It is natural. It is the dharma of human. That is why all that you can think of in life, all that you can desire in life is nothing but thoughts. So therefore, all that you can aspire were called as Purusharthas. What is it? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You have the capacity to entertain a thought of Dharma, you can entertain the thought of Artha, you can entertain the thought of Kama, you can entertain the thought of Moksha. That capacity in us to entertain thoughts and sustain that power in you is called Purushartha. Right. Now he is moving on to explaining what is the relationship between Prarabdha and Purushartha. And that relationship he presents from two angles. There are two essential connections they have when they function together in your life. Now, so far we have studied them as two different compartments. What is Purushartha, what is Prarabdha. Now in life they don't operate in isolation, they operate together. When they are operating together, we get into two different difficulties in understanding that. Those 2 points is what he is explaining now. Right? Okay. Those 2 points we will take up in the next class.